Kembo kembo na tata nzambi ya mazulu sonini na nini somandla ngai murungu mwenenyaga usiemi betwa bumbote bana baisoleni
Imana.
Weni abantoana abangoni moriega shiana shiangai mpo salama watoto wa Mungu. Yes, it's that time we sit and rightly divide the word of truth. And I'm telling you, my king brothers, today, you better be prepared for this one. Because we have the one, the only, Zola Bantu.
I get that.
Joining us from India. Yes?
Absolutely, absolutely.
You see, there's nowhere that the spirit of TATA NZAMBI YA MPUNGU cannot reach. So, King Brother.
Okay. My brother.
How did you come into this truth?
Oh, my brother, it has been a journey. It has been a trip of so many discoveries. You know, it hasn't been easy. It hasn't been easy. I had to put a lot of sacrifices into this because when you begin to follow TATA NZAMBI, you have to respect certain laws, the laws of movement, you know. Following TATA NZAMBI, his path has a lot of, you will find a lot of obstacles. It is not that people put those obstacles on your way. It is your own productions, your own karmas make the road look like a stumbling block, but it's a test for you to overcome it. So to work with TATA NZAMBI, my brother, you have to really respect the laws. There's a way that TATA NZAMBI functions. And when you give yourself, you submit to the way TATA NZAMBI functions, then you begin to move in the right way. But it's possible to also make another path which is opposite and become what you want to become, wealthy and successfully. But to really find real fulfillment, it is only in TATA NZAMBI. Only TATA NZAMBI gives the fulfillment of Ubuntu, Kimuntu. So it has been a struggle. It has been 6 years since I have been moving and learning more about TATA NZAMBI. And the more you know, the more you search for more. You know, that's the beauty about spirituality. In Kimuntu, you may meet one teacher, he teaches you and gives you to somebody else to move forward. It is not like a religion where you get stuck with one pastor your whole life, no? Even in school, when you're in primary school, you leave primary school, you enter into secondary school. After secondary school, you enter into university. The same teacher who taught you in primary school is not the one that will teach you in the university, you know? So you go to church, thank you. You spend time, thank you, but you have to move on. You can't lock people in a building of 4 walls and say you know everything. No, TATA NZAMBI, every day you discover many things about TATA NZAMBI. So that has been my journey, my brother. A journey of discovery and becoming better in myself as a Muntu. So to meet someone like you at this particular time, it is only TATA NZAMBI's plans that has brought us together. For that Matondo, Ingeta, for that Mbangi.
So my king brother, you know, when I invite guests to this channel, we dive deep because we like to seek the truth. Matatu.
Makuku matatu, Mamuela Congo. You know, my brother, if you go in Africa, especially even in Kenya, in the deep villages, you would see a mother in Kenya will be cooking ugali. She will place 3 stones. Usually we used to put 3 stones and then a pot on top. So it meant the pot was being supported by the 3 stones, and then you put the fire down with the woods. So when we say makuku matatu mamwela Congo, those 3 stones that support the pot in Kimuntu are the 3 pillars of Kimuntu, the 3 pillars of spirituality. They are supporting the pot for cooking ugali. So it means our ancestors back in Africa, that is how they governed their society. They placed their entire society standing in between 3 pillars. Zola, Ngangu, Lendo. Love, purity, and justice. Nsaku mpamvu, nzinga. The Nsaku are the priests. Mpamvu, the scientists. Nzinga, the judges. So those 3 pillars, those 3 stones you put to cook your ugali, and your pot is on top. So it means to build any society, you need to have those 3 principles, and then your society will stand. If you only put 2 stones, the pot will fall. It needs 3 stones, you know. That is the symbol of the pyramid in Kingipiti in Egypt. They built the pyramid like this because the Nzaku, the Mpamvu, and the Nzinga. So Mankaku Matatu Mamwela Congo is actually the perfect way to implement the project of TATA NZAMBI. We need to have the Nzakus, people that connect to God through intuition. We need to have the Nzaku. They have the wisdom to study the environment and make sure that Barayakubu eats biofoods, Barayakubu lives in a good environment, Barayakubu has an amazing house. And we need, of course, the land, the judges, so they can be able to govern the society. So the priests were on top, like in the pyramid in Egypt. It's like this because the priests were connecting to God. So the Mpamvus and the Nzingas could not do anything on their own without consulting the Nzakus. And in today's society, it's inverted. Western society's pyramid is like this. The Nzakus are below. Scientists can go and make an atomic bomb, no problem. The government the governor can go and steal public funds, no problem. But African cosmogony, the Makaku Matatu Mamwela Congo, working in harmony, respecting each other for the glory of TATA NZAMBI. Thank you, my brother. That's what I can say.
As we talk about those that are and shouldn't, those that take our rightful place, they talk of as it is above, so is it below. You see, when you're looking at their symbol, it tells you exactly what they did. They flipped Makuku Matatu.
They flipped it, opposite completely.
And that is why they wanted to sell us the Trinity.
Powerful.
Matondo. Now, my king, a lot of Banabeto have not been able to free themselves from the doctrine of Christianity. Doctrine and dogma has really tied them down. Perhaps, my king, you can help us understand the levels where you create with the mind, where you create with the tongue. You know where I'm going with this, my king. I told you we don't mean knowledge and wisdom on Bantu Education TV. My king.
You mentioned something very important. Creating with the tongue. Creating with the mind. And implementing it physically. It means in the inside of us, we have different worlds. The physical world that we see is just Nza ya Kikulusu, Nza ya Mavanga. But inside of us, we have Nza ya Mpova. We have Nza ya Ngindu. Inside a Muntu. Christianity is very dangerous because Christianity convinces you that you only exist in the physical realm.
My king, let's go a little deeper. Freeing the spiritual strata of the Son of Muntu. You know, we talked about the mind and creating with. So to free the mind, my king brother, we seek direction because you are well versed in this.
Ingeta, you know, my brother, to free the mind, you have to reconnect. You know, if you look at, because mostly in Western medicine, they only teach you about astronomy of the physical body. But we have an entire astronomy of even the spiritual body, the chakras. In Congo, we say the set litu, the 7 chakras. It means there are centers of energies in your body. And your moon to your spirit connects to your physical body by the solar plexus, right here. It's to the solar plexus, it connects you to the spiritual kingdom. Jacobo, our ancestor, because the Europeans told our history, had a dream where he saw angels descending and ascending. He was showing his silver cord connected to the spiritual realms, and he saw the servants of TATA NZAMBI ascending and descending. So when you speak about freeing your mind, you need to begin to get information from TATA NZAMBI through your spiritual body. Christianity makes you asleep in your spiritual body and you begin to work only with your mental body, the animal mind. I always speak about a human being. The animal mind is the most dangerous. The intellect versus the intuition. How did Cain kill Abel?
Intuition.
Cain killed Abel. The intellect killed the intuition. Christianity codes it, manipulates it to say Adam and Eve ate the fruit. All those are symbolic words.
Because as Bantus, we do not just speak.
We don't speak. We don't just speak, my brother.
Tell them, my king.
We live it. We live it. So, my king, religion is the most destructive weapon that can destroy anybody. Because I lived 22 years of my life in religion. When I began to wake up, I came to realize, my God, this is dangerous. Because we still have 800 million Africans in the continent who believe in those things. I was talking to a brother 2 days ago. He said, for me, I believe in my Jesus. He died for me. I cannot take anything else more. You see the level of falling of our people. So we need to restore Kimuntu. We need to restore how to live from the inside out and not from the outward in. Master Yeshua said, you clean the outside of the cup, you leave the inside dead.
And he also said, they whitewash, they build walls and paint and whitewash them.
They build walls, paint them nicely, decorative, but inside cockroaches living there. So a muntu cleans the inside first. A muntu lives in love, purity, lives in joy, gentleness, lives in harmony with nature. A muntu cannot make a car that runs on petrol, destroying the environment, no. A muntu cannot make a food that is genetically modified, no. So we, our ancestors, we used to use horses. It's not that we were stupid, that we lacked the knowledge to make cars and airplanes. No, we respected mom and dad. We respected nature. We said, okay, let's just use the horses to travel. Our ancestors built the pyramids. Up to now, nobody understands how the pyramids were made. You think we couldn't make a plane or a train. we understood that this was not the right kind of technologies to implement in Mama and Toto. We walked barefooted because we wanted to be intact with the soil, to be in connection with the ground. They brought us slippers and shoes. Look at us today.
And
we need to retain, my brother.
And my king brother, I will remind them that even when Massa, TATA NZAMBI, he was told to take off his shoes.
On the ground you are standing.
He's holy.
He's holy.
He's soil.
My God. My king, you just touched on something. You just touched on something very important.
Take it home, my king.
My king, the restoration of a Black person of Africa is too much work. We need to really restore, first of all, our women. Our women have fallen. A woman is the protector of the sacred flame. A woman keeps the flame burning in the house. A woman is a guider of man. Remember, back home in Africa, when you go to see a chief and give him your plans and your project, you tell you, Brother Yakubu, go and come back tomorrow. Why? He wanted to speak to his wife. Mama, I heard about this. What do you think? Mama connects with the spiritual kingdom and say, Papa, do this, do this, do this. This is how our women were. But today, we have turned our women, they have lost their place. Now look at us.
And we have made them into second girls, as TATA NZAMBI YA MPUNGU had warned.
Mama and Toto, we have abused our women. We have abused our women. Today, all our women's ovaries, we have sent them into the lower astral world. We can no longer get people of Kimun to come in from the Pemba Kalungas. We don't get them anymore. All our new beds are coming from the lower astral world. We need to restore, but we need to restore through spirituality. We need to reconnect. We need to reactivate our solar plexus. Master Yeshua said we became dead in spirit, dead in Kumuntu. Now imagine, Brother Yakubu, you're in a car where the car is driving on its own. You, the driver, you have no control over the car anymore. That is the human being of today. You are just living like an animal. You eat, you sleep, that's it. The Muntu inside of you is asleep. But our ancestors, the Muntu was alive. It was the Muntu that was driving the car. Isn't the car important? Yes, the body is important. The body needs to eat 3 times a day. The body needs to be kept clean. But the goal is to achieve the objectives of the Muntu and not the car. Yes, the car needs the fuel, it needs maintenance, but what's important is the Muntu that is inside you that needs to live spiritually, my brother. TATA NZAMBI.
And you see, this is what the Mundele has ensured. The Mundele has ensured that whatever is coming from the lower astral projections is what we are feeding, what we are consuming on. And as TATA NZAMBI YA MPUNGU brings into remembrance his covenant with the sons of Muntu. Now they are running scattered. That is why they are feeding us poison. You know? And because the sons of Muntu have that spirit, that's why they are rejecting it.
Now you're talking.
So
perhaps, they're looking for us.
Perhaps, my king brother, you can take us heaven and hell.
Heaven and hell in Christianity.
Let's break it. Let's break this case wide open.
My brother, since I come from a Christian background, I'll be giving examples from the Christian background. When you go to Christianity, heaven means to go and rest in the breast of Abraham. I don't know how many people will going to rest on that breast. I don't know how big the breast of Abraham is, that everybody will go and rest on those breasts. No. The understanding of hell has been misunderstood by Christianity as a place of rest. Nobody rests in God's kingdom. It is work after work, joyous work.
And even
hell also has been, yes.
Even
yes,
when,
my brother.
when our ancestors move to the next realm in spirit, they keep working. They influence.
Yes.
They influence the physical realm. Tell them why, my king.
My brother, to be able to understand heaven and hell, you have to first be able to understand the structure of the kingdom of TATA NZAMBI. TATA NZAMBI, Brother Paul tried to understand it. He said he lives in inaccessible light. He was trying to say the existence of TATA NZAMBI, nobody has the understanding of it. But Tumugimbangu taught us TATA NZAMBI lives in the divine kingdom. In the divine kingdom, you find TATA NZAMBI, Mama Ndombe, Mfumu Yesu now, the 7 archangels, the 24 elders, and the 4 living creatures. All this can be found in Revelation. If you descend, there's a spiritual primordial kingdom that has 7 levels. If you descend, there's a spiritual kingdom that also has 7 levels. And in the 7th level, that is where the gems of spirits like you and me came from. And then the Simbi ya Masa, Simbi ya Mupepe, found in Kakongo, created for us this physical kingdom that also has 7 levels. And the first level is the Pemba Kalunga. The first 3 are the kingdoms of light. The bottom 3 are what we call the physical matter. Nzaya Ngindu, Nzaya Mbova, Nzaya Kikulusu, where you and me are. But you know, when we're constructing this physical kingdom, TATA NZAMBI allocated the work to one of the archangels, Ne Mbumba Loa. Europeans call him Lucifer. He was leading the Simbis to construct the post-creation. When he completed the work, something jealousy came in his mind. I have built this place for these people. Now you want to make them the leaders. And then because of that disobedience, you could not bow down. That disobedience, the laws of TATA NZAMBI casted him into the lower astral world, which people now know as hell. So hell is not a place where Christians think people are burning in fire. No, it is a different dimension of a lower frequency. Nothing to do with fire, people burning and all that, no. So it's an entire real paradigm shift. Spirituality is knowledge. Spirituality is not belief and faith, no. Spirituality is knowledge.
He gives us the warnings. My people perish because of lack of what?
Knowledge.
You know, we were given this book that they took our history, our oral history, and tried to map the Babylonian Talmud on that. So, my king, how to Wanabeto that are listening, how much of the Bible can we trust?
My brother, I have read the Bible 3 times, from Genesis to Revelation. And I can tell you with confidence that 80% of what is there is false, manipulated, trafficked. Can you imagine they even changed our names?
Genetically modified, as Yaya Robert Headley would say.
Massa became Moses. Yeshua became Jesus. Nimi Congo became Noah. Kulu Isamusi became John the Baptist. They changed our entire story.
Rita became Eve.
Look at that. So honestly, there are some truths in the Bible, But if you're not spiritual, you will not be able to decode it. So I think we have to read it with so much wisdom, because if you don't read it with the spiritual eye, you will still believe that there was an apple and a tree and someone ate the apple. Which fruit can you eat here and then your eyes open? What kind of nonsense is that? These were spiritual messages, because our ancestors, when they wrote these messages, they began to see foreigners coming to Egypt, and they began to hide knowledge and symbols into stories. There was a man with his wife, they ate the fruit. These were stories for 10 small children in Nazareth school. The Greeks came, they picked up the books in the library, they went to understand it in their own way. But that book had a different meaning. Master Yeshua says, I am going to prepare a place for you. My Father's house has many rooms. Yeah, it means there are rooms up there. Oh, wait a minute. So up there are also rooms. There are places there. So Master Yeshua spoke to us in parables. A sower went out and began to plant. Some seeds fell on this place, some seeds fell on this place. He was speaking about the creation, how we came into the physical kingdom and we fell in different types of soil. He speaks about the parable of the prodigal son. He left his father's house, he went and did his own thing and then came back. He was speaking about us who left the spiritual kingdom to do our experience here. But if you go in Christianity, they'll be telling you things like a story as if you are a Christian, you left God, and then you think, no. So there was wisdom in our writings, my brother. So honestly, if you are not spiritual, I advise you not to read the Bible, or you're going to be brainwashed. But if you are in Tumwa, because the Bible was for Tumwas and Tsakus, they were the ones who had to read it, decode it, and then teach the people. But today you just wake up in the morning, oh, God has sent me, He has selected me to teach the word of God. No, it didn't work like that. Our tumors were selected from the spiritual kingdom.
And they were of a bloodline. You just
they were of a bloodline. Very important. Very important. They were anointed. Some people think the students of Master Yeshua, people like the Peter, the John, he just met them here on earth on the road. No, these were people that were selected to help him in the mission. So my brother, to answer your question on the Bible, you have to be spiritual to understand it, because it has been completely manipulated into dogmas and precepts. So you have to read between the lines. Take, for example, the story of Massa. We are told that they crossed the Red Sea and then they went back to Africa. But the Suez Canal was just built by Napoleon here in the 17th century. There was no water that divided the Middle East to Africa. There was land over there. So how can Massa be foolish to go and divide the water and do miraculous sign to prove a point, and there was dry ground over here where he could just walk? So when you begin to look at the scriptures, you begin to understand, no. How can you tell us that we black people came from the son of Noah who saw his father's nakedness? There are Christians who believe such nonsense. So it's very sad, my brother. It's very sad. Read the Bible very carefully.
Just so they know, when we talk of Ham and the Hamites, we know there's only one type of being that looks like pork, like ham.
That's a good one.
King has named his cities after that. And if you think I'm joking, Nottingham, Southam.
That's a good one. So they have the hams over there. And they claim we should be the ham.
They are the ones. They are the cast ones, because, my friend, you have to be cast not to have the ability to walk under the sun.
Ingeta. Ingeta.
Leprosy is sunburn.
Yes. 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 Absolutely.
We have, and you see, that is why even our daughters in the Congo and around the world keep bleaching, because they have been made to hate the melanin, yet it is meant to protect them.
It's an entire shield of protection. The black skin absorbs sunlight. Even the spiritual aspect, a black person listens to the messages of TATA NZAMBI easily as compared to the other fallen skin.
And then, my king brother, we see a lot of kinetic information being peddled. Kemetic from Kamata.
Oh, Kemetic information being peddled. Yes.
Kemetic spirituality and all that. So where do the sons of Moon disengage with Kamata?
I have to be honest with you, my brother. On the story of Kamata, I am still doing my research, but there's a lot of confusion also in that aspect, because from what I'm educated in, I know the land which the Egyptians lived, they called it Black Land, which is translated into Kemetic, which means Kemet. Kemet means black land. But sometimes you see people today claim, they talk about Kemetics and all these things, and they try to disassociate it from the Bantus. They try to disassociate it, from the TATA NZAMBI, and they link it mostly to myths and astrologies. That's the confusion comes in. But I do believe that Kemetic was the black land of the Egyptian. But I'm really glad to be educated more if you know about this, about the Kemetic, of the sons of Muntu, if you can really enlighten me on that, my brother, king brother.
Well, I'm also still looking into that, because as we always say, nobody can sit us down and tell us they know the entire truth of TATA NZAMBI, Tulendo, Yamazulu. You see, he's bringing us to this truth, bits and pieces, coming together as we continue to have an understanding. But one thing I have realized, if the Mundele doesn't want you to look, that is where the Mundele doesn't want you to look, that is where you should look.
What they're hiding, what they're trying to make you to avoid, put your mind there. They used to hide truth in the books.
As Kimbangu told us, we will catch them with the item that they stole.
He told us to read that Bible, you find the truth and catch them with the things that they are hiding.
Papa Kimbangu. And you see, nobody will talk about our the Vasakoli, the true our prophet, You'll find somebody like Simon Toko thrown to the background. And a lot of people don't realize Simon Toko really had an impact on the sons of Moon.
Simon Toko. Yes. Yes.
So, my king brother, now.
My brother, you seem to speak amazing Kikongo and Lingala. Wow, you grew up around those areas? Because now you say you're in Kenya.
My king brother, NZAMBI YA MPUNGU, when he wants you to learn something, you will learn it.
My God, NZAMBI YA MPUNGU kulendo, ingeta.
Still on the principles of Makuku Matatu.
Amwela
Congo. We have the law. That's why we need judges.
Yes.
Then there's the love, the Ubuntu, the cosmic force of creation, in all its manifestations. Kintu, Vantu.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful, yes.
How do Banaveto get to understand the laws in this book that are actually meant for the sons of Moon?
Thank you so much. You know, in King Gipiti, the stealers, they always steal our words. King Gipiti, they named it Egypt. Katiopa, they named it Ethiopia. In Gipiti, TATA NZAMBI Kumburendo gave our ancestors, the pharaohs, the 40 laws of the Mahat. When Massa was there, he summarized it into the 10 Commandments. If you look at 10 Commandments, the first 4, it relates Emuntu TATA NZAMBI. The remaining 6, it relates Emuntu to his neighbor on the side. So Mfumu Yesu, when he came, he squeezed it further. Look, Mahat into 10 by Moshe, and then the 10 into 2 by Mfumu Yesu. Love God with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your soul, and love your neighbor as yourself. The symbol of the cross, not the cross of Golgotha, no, that is Roman nonsense. So the principles, the laws are those, the cross. Connect to God with all your mind. Connect to TATA NZAMBI, and then love your neighbor. You create a cross. Now you need to carry. That is the cross that you need to carry. Not he died for me on the cross. He carried my sins. No, that is nonsense. You need to carry those principles of connecting TATA NZAMBI and loving your neighbor as yourself. You carry that with you daily. The rest is to the end. So, Bana Mundu, they need to know those principles. The principles of verticality and the principles of horizontality. Spiritual laws and natural laws and human laws. It creates the cross. What happened in Golgotha? It was an assassination. Nobody died for anybody.
They hanged him.
He was hanged because he was beginning to wake up the people, and they never liked him. And they all of a sudden made his life to be so special, and also his birth miraculous, that he was born by a virgin. But you and I know that the laws of TATA NZAMBI cannot break his own laws. Why would TATA NZAMBI break his own laws? TATA NZAMBI told Adam and Eve, if you eat that fruit, you will die. He was seeing how the fruit was being eaten, and he stood and didn't do anything. But on the birth, then comes to intervene and says he needs to be born miraculously. No. So we need to reassess. No.
And we
so
also
to respond to your questions on the laws, verticality and horizontally, carry it every day.
Kembo na TATA NZAMBI Mpungu Nendo Yama Zulu, as they call him in South Africa, Sonina Nini Somandla, the mighty one of the band. As we know him here in the East, Ngai Murungu Mwenenyaga, the mighty one of our ancestors, all the way from Brightfields Abel.
Ingeta.
To those that are watching, we continue to ask you, Ungubani, who are you, sons of Muntu? You hear the depth of knowledge, son of Muntu.
Yes.
Zola Bantu is his channel.
Love people.
Need to subscribe. There's a lot to learn.
Yes.
Let's come out of the doctrine of Christianity. That is not for us.
Not for us at all.
We do not follow Cesare Borgia's gay lover. Yes, because who we know as Jesus, that white painting, was nothing else. It's something that has never left the canvas that it was painted on. We had Matia Isaiah Congo, or Msindisi, as they call him in South Africa, a black man who was murdered hanged on a so much about our spirituality that needs to be restored. You heard from my king brother, 80% of that book is doctored. Back in the East, we say Kiredahu. It's full of abominations.
Oh my God, yes. Yes. Yes.
Nzambi ya Mpungu has a system that he placed there. And this system, you cannot go against this system and prevail over Nzambi ya Mpungu system. You've heard the one we call the devil, Lucifer, and the creation of the Nsimbi. Perhaps, my king, you might want to touch on Nsimbi. For those who do not understand what Nsimbi is.
Nsimbi, if you look in Lingala, we say to touch, it means kusimba. So when we say Simbi, Simbi are basically the ones that hold together the creation of God. In God's creation, we have spirits and we have entities. Spirits have a free will, like Brother Yakubi and me, we are spirits. We can do against TATA NZAMBI, or we can do with in respect to NZAMBI. But entities are servants of God. They are made to function in complete obedience to God. They cannot do otherwise. So these entities, in Christianity, they know them as angels, but even them, they are confused because angels is a messenger, it's not an entity. So a Simbi is an entity that basically is a servant of God that is involved in all the maintenance of the entire house of God. You know, if you're a father in a house, you have your children and you have your maids. Your children have some sort of a free will in the house. They can do what they want. But your maid does not have the free will to do what he wants or she wants. Your maid has to do what you say. But your children can do other things. Same thing in the house of TATA NZAMBI, they are spirits and they are entities. So the Simbis are the entities that basically maintain the entire God's kingdom. So even here on the earth here, there are Simbis here with us, but they are a different dimension. To be able to see them, you have to have the spiritual eye opened. In Congo, we say you had to be a Ntumwa or Endoka. Endokas could communicate with the Nzambi ya Bantu, Nzambi ya Kisemi, Nzambi ya Minti, the servants of the trees. They maintain the trees. All the trees that you see here, it is the Nzambi ya Minti who take care of it. Nzambi ya Bibulu, they take care of the animals. Nzambi ya Ntoto, they maintain the soil. Nzambi ya Mupepe, they maintain the air. Nzambi ya Ntia, they fabricate the fire. So there are a lot of servants of God that live with us here, but they are at a semi-dimension superior as compared to a human beings. So they're the ones that maintain the entire creation. So if you're a pure spiritual person and Tumwa, you can see them. They are the ones that gave you what kind of food that you eat. The vegetables that you eat in Africa, it is the Nzambi ya Minti that showed our ancestors, this you can eat. This, cook it like this. If you're sick, take this tree, cut it like this, put in the pot, boil it, cover yourself with a blanket, you will feel much better. It is the Nzambi ya Minti that taught us this thing. So our medicine from Africa was natural and organic because we were in contact with the Nzambis, the servants of God, because they are the ones that created everything. You see? But the Western people, since they are lost spiritually, they cannot be in touch with the Nzambis anymore. That is how they make their own medicine for molecules. They make their own technologies just by the manipulation of science. But you can actually make good energy and technologies if you stay in touch with the Nzambis. That is why in the reign of Kwatulendo, which is coming very soon, we shall reconnect with the Nzambis. Mugimbangu said three-quarters of the technologies is yet to be done in the reign of Kwatulendo, coming up very soon. So please book your visas and your tickets. Yep. Mr.
Yes.
Yakubu will be able to Mr. Yakubu will be able to show you how to book your visa for the reign of Kwatulendo for Mugimbangu mentioned also. Reign of Kwatulendo. It's coming very soon. Coming very soon.
Kembo na TATA NZAMBI.
Kembo na Nzambi.
Mpungu tulendo ya Mazulu. Nkosi ya Mankosi. Ba Abantwana Abangone. Those without sin. The melanated ones. The kings and queens. Yes. You don't get this quality of spiritual information. It's coming all the way from India.
It's coming all the way from.
Reminding you of Nzambi ya Mpungu. Reminding you of Nzimbi. Where do you think your ancestors go?
My ancestors are from the Congo Kingdom. By then we had Congo Diantotila. It means we had it around Angola and also around the Congo, center of Congo. So my ancestors came from Congo Diantotila, precisely from the Congo Kingdom. And from there on, we began in the heart of Africa. And then after the Great Flood, we moved up with Congo Nimi to Kingipiti. And from Kingipiti, after we were chased by the Greeks and the Babylonians, we came back to the heart of Africa around the 690 AD. And then again, we were colonized 500 years from 14th century to around the 1960s. And then many of our people were sent to the Caribbean and to other nations as slaves up to the 1960s when they gave us this fake independence. So this is just to give you an outline of the history of where my ancestors came from and your ancestors also, because we all come from the tribe of Yakobo, the 12 sons. We are the real Jews, not the fake ones over there.
No, for we
are the real
blasphemy of them that say they are Bantu.
Jews. They are not. They are Bantus, but they are not. They are the synagogues of
Kembo.
They are the synagogue of Satan.
So my king, I know it's still Samba where you are.
Yes.
So perhaps a parting shot for Banabeto. The link to your channel will be in the description because I believe you have a lot of information that Banabeto need to hear if they are not already paying attention. And it is information that is very important to you, sons and daughters of Mungu. The reign of a Congo, NZAMBI YA MPUNGU, Sonini na nini, Somangla, Ngai Murungu, Mwenenyaga, with his children on the land that he gave to the ancestors has begun. It's time to come home.
Yes, it is.
It's time to come home.
It's calling us. We're being called to come back home. Yes.
So we're gonna say
it's time to come back.
So about the poison, are they forcing it on Banabeto where you are?
Yes, I was in an office in my workplace. They had made it compulsory for us to take the poison. They said we should take it or else they would not pay us our salary. So it was a bit difficult. So I had to quit, and then TATA NZAMBI gave me another opportunity. So I advise all my brothers and sisters, please avoid that poison because they are looking for Banabilaka. Because Banabilaka, they have the Bantu DNA origin DNA. So that nanotechnology is actually searching for the Banabilaka because we are the ones who are supposed to launch the reign of Kwatulendo in the heart of Africa. So they want to get rid of us so they can delay the plan of TATA NZAMBI. So try as much to avoid it. If you've already taken it, no problem. Try to consume biofoods and try to live in purity. Purity with your actions, purity with your thoughts, purity with your words. It will make you to live the 3 dimension, the dimension of choice. Because the reign of Kwatulendo, only the people who are in the 5th and the 6th dimension will be able to get the visa. Because when the time of judgment, we only have 700 years left. Because the time of Aquarius began in the 14th century. If you do the maths, the reign of Kwatulendo is within the time of Aquarius. Master Yeshua spoke of the parable of the banquet. He called all the servants to invite the guests. Some refused to come. The parable of the 10 virgins. 5 were foolish, 5 were wise. So if you are a Banabilaka, you can understand what I'm trying to say. The groom is already here. The wedding is very soon. So raise your vibration, love, live in love, purity, and justice. Zolanga Ngulendo. The battle is spiritual. So that is my greetings to you all. We love you so much. At Zola Bantu, you learn a few things, but please listen to Brother Yakubi. Banabilaka, at this particular time, it's really important for us to stick together. I will be inviting Brother Yakubi to bless us also at Zola Bantu with the message that he has in his heart. Hopefully he can reach out to many people as well. And we are truly blessed to have you and to have this moment with you. And we want us to stay together, to support each other in every way possible. I send you prayer to Christians means la 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 la, praying in tongues. No, we don't pray like that. We pray by sending good thoughts. We send good thoughts to people. The good thoughts surround Brother Yakubi and protect him from any harm. Because we know there are egregores, powers. So our good energies that we release protect our own. So I pronounce the protection on you, Brother Yakubi, and your entire family.
I speak blessing and increase to you.
Thank you, my brother.
Be Ambuta.
Thank you so much.
Reminding Banabeto of our mighty one. Nzambi ya mpungu. So nini na nini somandla. Ngai, Murugu, Mwenenyaga, the mighty one of the Bantu. Be free, Banabeto. Be free, be free. For the reign of a Congo. Yes.
Reign of Congo, yes. The king of creation.
The king of creation. Nkosi ya Mankosi. Yamazulu. So, I will ask you to speak a blessing to Banabeto. And we're not going to speak the language of the Mundele. I want you to speak it in Kikongo. For those that are going through similar scenarios, they will try and force the poison on Banabeto, but I can tell you they will not prevail. They will try, but they will not prevail. Because Akongo has said so. Ingeta Makubenjalo. My king.
Banabeto, etukele, bana TATA NZAMBI. Etukele makasi. Betu longa. Uza na makasi. TATA NZAMBI abusa nibinote. TATA NZAMBI azali nakati na biso. TATA NZAMBI alingi biso mingi. TATA NZAMBI azoya. Vous préparez mitema na bino. Vous préparez makanisi na bino. Vous préparez pe maloba na bino. Vous mbongisa na motema. O renya Kwatulendo ezoya. Anguna bakokoka biso te. Biso nde tokolonga. bana Mbangu, bana Bilaka, Ingeta.
Ingeta
Imana.
Benjalo. You've had it from our Sankoli, a chosen
Thank
one.
you.
Benjalo, so
Thank
my king. I think Sarap.
Thank you so much. Have a beautiful TATA NZAMBI be with you, my brother.
And also with you, my king, brother.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All praises to Sormini Narnini. Umhanda Vanna Vermuntu. Rise of a nation, sounds from a liberated Bantu. All praises to Sormini Narnini. Umhanda Vanna Vermuntu. Rise of a nation, sounds from a liberated Bantu.